Good morning, my lovelies. This morning is May the 4th. So all the Star Wars fans have already got their memes up saying, "May the 4th be with you." But today I have a very different science fiction movie on my mind. And I woke up thinking about it this morning, and that movie is The Matrix. The Matrix came out, I think, in the late 90s. And that movie was quite profound. And I think especially relevant right now. So in that movie, there was a guy named Neo. And he was going along, having his little life, totally doing all the normal things. He had a gig as a hacker and things like that on the side. So he was aware of technology and kind of what was going on. But overall, he had a life in the midst of everybody else. And it kind of went on. And he had questions about life and how it could be better or different, or was there something more? But he didn't know how to get those questions answered. Fast forward to one day, somebody comes into his life and offers him a red pill or a blue pill. And if he takes one, he'll know the answers to what life's really about. And if he takes the other, he can just kind of go back into the mix. Well, of course, he takes the pill where he finds out what's really happening. And then we follow his story through the rest of the movie on how that decision then transforms him and his understanding of how life works. I don't know about you, but I feel a little bit like Neo these days, because we got shaken up and sort of unplugged from the matrix that we were in before. We had enough change that we were able to take a beat and say, is there something more? What is that something more? And how do I deal with that? Now, some people are wanting to take the pill to go back to the way that it was and to just go back into the mix, and can it be like it was? And then there's a whole set of other people, of which I am one, that say, oh my gosh, if these things are all true and we have these other possibilities, how can we make that real in the world? How can we dream of a better world where people aren't stuck in the same old patterns of greed, of dysfunction, of abuse, of inequities, of all these different things? Is there any way that we can take this moment in order to dream a better world? And if you remember in that movie, The Matrix, one of the things that Neo had to do in order to be able to re-engage with the world and help the people in it is he had to learn. Now, in the movie, they made it really nice because all he had to do was plug in to this machine, and then he just download these different martial arts skills or other types of things that he needed. I have been, for the past several weeks, in a massive download, and maybe you are too, because if you don't want to just take a beat and sit and watch movies and things like that, but you want to be equipped in all these different ways for what God is doing in this moment and what can come out of it, and how do we embrace that, how do we live into that, how do we wake up every day ready for the next thing, then this moment is probably an incredible learning time for you. And truthfully, I'm a little jealous that Neo, all he has to do is plug in. Me, I have to really work at it. I have to look at things. I have to take classes online and webinars and things like that. And I have to learn how to do this. This is new. I have to think about, what does this mean? And how do we live into it? And how do I help others to process it? And how do I process it? And all those kinds of things. It would be easier if all I had to do is download it from some sort of computer program, but that's not the way it is. It takes time. And sometimes it's hard to be patient, even with myself, much less the situation. But I fundamentally believe that God is doing a new thing, and that God is calling us to be better, to be more real, to be more whole, to work for things that build communities, families, communities, and systems that make this life kinder to all of us. There was a lot of dysfunction before all this started. Now it's highlighted in this moment, and we're uncomfortable, but we can change it. And if you really remember, then by the end of the movie, of the first Matrix movie, not only does Neo learn how to deal with the world that he goes back into, many of whom are still asleep, the people that are still in there, many still don't get it. But he and his companions, they work on going in and helping people and saving the ones they can and trying to make a difference in that world and trying to protect them and transform it. But if you remember at the end of the movie, Neo learns to fly. I believe that working with God is like that. That if you stop for a minute and you really think about how things look from God's perspective, both up and around and all encompassing and through us, if you think about the power of that and the wonder of that, then you will realize that that is the only option that's going to work. The other options keep us asleep. They keep us entrenched in bad patterns. They keep us miserable. So in this moment, on May the 4th, even though this is not the Star Wars movie I'm talking about, be a Neo. My message to you today, be a Neo. And if you're watching movies and you haven't watched that movie, and you want to watch a sci-fi movie, I would say watch The Matrix. It is an awesome movie. And see if you can interact with some of the concepts that I'm talking about and see its relevance for today. Take the pill that brings you into reality of what is and what can be. Learn all you can, re-engage, and learn how to fly. That's my message for today. God bless y'all. Have a great Monday. Bye-bye.